Manav Atmanah. One Atma, two Atmas, many Atmas, and therefore you are one Atma, I am another Atma, and therefore are we not two? No. No. It is not for that I spent all this time. So, that we are two even before my spending the time. And we are two. And now I am spending all the time to prove that we are not two. And Swami, how? It is useless. I mean, just saying that you are different from me. I know that you are different from me. You are standing there, I am sitting here. You are talking to me and I am listening to you. You don't even give me a chance to ask a question. And therefore, so I am a listener, you are a talker. How can you say there is one Atma? One Atma means I should talk, you should talk, all talk, same way we all should talk. There is one Atma. If I talk, all talk. It's like, in a mirror house, you raise your hand, all raise hand. Therefore, you are all my mirrors. Is that so? No? Therefore, we are many. Okay. Now let us assume that there are two Atmas. You plus me. Okay? You are Atma. And then I am another Atma. I told you, Atma is Swatah Siddha. Atma is self-evident. That is self-evident Atma. Then, that another Atma is standing here. How do you know? How do you know? Because of your pramana, means of knowledge. Therefore, you think that another Atma is. That means, so another Atma is known to exist. He is known to exist. Okay, good. What is known to exist? Tell me. What do you see? My body. You see my body. And I already brought that body to an Atma. Not only your body is an Atma, my body also. You see my body, I also see my body. And therefore I know my body, you know my body, we both see our bodies, and therefore we bring the body here anyway, an Atma. Okay? That's over. Swami, I see your mind. I see your mind. Suppose you've got telepathy, unfortunately. Some people have got telepathy. Some people develop telepathy. They want telepathy. You can develop telepathy. It's very easy. But the only thing is you don't know afterwards. Once you develop telepathy, you don't know whether it is your confusion or others' confusion. Whether it is your problem or others' problem. Already you have got your problem. And now others' problem also. God knows better. Whoever made me, he knows better. And he or she knows better. That I shouldn't have telepathy. Occasional telepathy is good. Between husband and wife, mother and son, these kind of things happen. And then he wants something to eat, and then she already cooks that and keeps it ready. And then he comes and tells, how did you figure out? So this is exactly what I wanted you to cook today. And she said, I know whom I am married to. Broccoli. Broccoli or whatever. Anyway, so, well, therefore, this is what they call hitting the frequency. Because you love somebody. And therefore there is a certain frequency, you hit the frequency of his own thinking. Telepathy. Suddenly it occurs to you, why not this today? That's what that fellow was thinking at that time. So it happens. You always hit. It's possible. But that is nice. That shows that it's all wonderful. But then, but that doesn't mean that you have to pick up everybody's thought, which is a silly thing. Anyway, suppose you have it. Unfortunately, you have telepathy. And you say, Swami, I see you. Whom you see? I see your mind. Means my thought. Therefore you see me. You see my thought, that means thought is I. Therefore one I is me, the other I is what I see. What you see is anatma. Not only for you, for me too. If you see my thought, it is anatma for you. And do you think that I am an idiot? So that I will not see my thought? I say, I see my thought. Therefore it is anatma for me too. You are not seeing another eye. You see only anatma. Okay. Swami, I know your memories. If you say so, well, I know my memories anyway. You must consult me. Whether what you think that I know, whether it is true or not, you must consult me. Why? Because it is again known to you through some means of knowledge. Therefore, verifiable. Why? Because it can be wrong. Anything that is known to you through a means of knowledge is subject to be wrong, subject to error, and therefore it is open for verification. And so, you have to verify me. I am the one who is authority for it. Did you undergo this experience or not? I am the authority for it. And therefore, I know my memories. That is not I. If you know my ignorance, I know my ignorance. Therefore, that is not I. Therefore, all that you objectify is what? Anatma. And therefore, all right, Swami, I objectify another Atma. Which Atma you objectify? You are conscious being. And the conscious being, does it objectify another conscious being? Definitely not. It does not objectify conscious being. It only objectifies everything else within time-space. And therefore, you don't objectify another conscious being. Means the being is not, there is no second being. There is only one Atma that is there, and everything else I objectify, you objectify. That's all what you can objectify, maximum. And therefore, consciousness, like even a light does not objectify light. The light here, another light there does not objectify each other. The light does not objectify light. Consciousness does not objectify consciousness. There is only consciousness that is you, conscious being that is you, and anything else you objectify is anatma, and I also objectify them. Understand? And therefore, Atma is only one. What is that? That is you. That is you. The only beauty about it is I can say the same thing. We'll come to that later. So that Atma is only you are the conscious being, and everything else are objects of consciousness. And therefore, when I say conscious being, it is not to distinguish any other being, unconscious being, to be distinguished from the unconscious being. I use the word conscious. Therefore, adjectives serve two purposes. One, it defines the object. When I say it is hot fire, it defines the fire. What is fire? So there it is purely fire is hot. When I say or hot fire, definitely it defines the object. It is not qualifying object because there is no cold fire. Therefore, adjectives either they can qualify an object to distinguish it from other members of the same species of the object, or what? To reveal the object. When I say conscious being, it is not distinguish the being from other beings which are unconscious, but it is only to define the being, the nature of the being. Therefore, conscious is an adjective which is purely revealing the very object. The object here is being, that is I. Therefore, I is conscious, means I is consciousness. When I say conscious being, I mean I is consciousness. Understand? In other words, I'll bring in some other way. So I'll say the conscious being can be said, the consciousness is I. Therefore, when you say I am, I will say consciousness. Consciousness or awareness, these two words I use, but in this sense, remember, it is not I'm talking about social consciousness and other things. So they are all ramifications. But I'm talking about just I take a word consciousness. And that's how I have to use. I use the word consciousness. which definitely so gives you that it is not unconscious, it is not inert. That is all the meaning you have got for consciousness. Then I am giving a meaning for it further. That consciousness as such, I am when I say, I is conscious being, therefore consciousness, am means is. Consciousness is. Now look, it's very easy now. Now when you see me, I say, you are a conscious being. Conscious being means what? So I am. I am means I am a conscious being. In other words, consciousness is. When you see me, consciousness is. Is or is not? Is. Consciousness is. When you see your own body, consciousness is. When you see a thought, consciousness is. When you see another thought, consciousness is. When you hear, consciousness is. When you smell, pick up a smell, consciousness is. When you taste, consciousness is. When you touch, consciousness is. When you worry, consciousness is. When you are happy, consciousness is. When you dream, consciousness is. When you daydream, consciousness is. When you sleep, consciousness is gone. Gone? Gone? Yes. Yes. Consciousness is gone in sleep? Yes, it's gone. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Oh, and then last night I slept. Yes. There was no consciousness. How do you know? There was no consciousness, how do you know? Well, because I slept well. How do you know you slept well? There was no consciousness. Oh, that much I was conscious. What? What? I mean that I slept well, that much I am conscious. That I was not conscious of anything, that I am conscious. Thank God. That's what I am telling. Consciousness is. In deep sleep, your mind goes to sleep. Consciousness is. Therefore, look. Therefore, now look, consciousness. When you see me, consciousness is. Now, consciousness is Atma. Consciousness is Atma. Now tell me, where will you draw the line now? Atma ends. The world begins. I am the world for you now. Where do you end? Where do I begin? Where do you end? You are the conscious being, or the being consciousness. Where does that consciousness end, stop? And then I begin. The object begins. Suppose the consciousness stops somewhere there, and then I am outside that. Will you see me? Will you see me? I will be outside you. I will never be within your consciousness. If you see me, am I inside your consciousness or outside consciousness? I am inside consciousness. This body, therefore I said, one is self-evident. The other is not self-evident, depends upon the self. And therefore, one is self-shining, self-evident, that is you. And the Swami depends upon you. That the physical body is there standing here, is depending upon your consciousness, the existence of this body. And my consciousness also. I also say this body is standing. You also say it is standing. That's true. And therefore, so can you draw the line between the consciousness and the object, the world? Anything you think of. You cannot. You think of stars, consciousness is. Where do you stop, draw the line? You can't draw the line. You think of unknown things, between unknown and consciousness. What is the line? There is no in-between line. The unknown, aviditam, known, viditam. And between that, in fact, the world and consciousness. Can you draw a line? You cannot draw a line. You can never draw a line. And therefore, I would say, consciousness is and what? When the world is, consciousness is. When the world is, consciousness is. I use the word when. When the world is, consciousness is. Therefore, the world is within consciousness. Now, therefore, there is no line between. Now, I will put it this way. The whole thing is what? Within consciousness. Now, look at here. The body, senses and the mind, etc. So, through them, there are sense organs. The whole body is a sense organ. The physical body is a sense organ. The sense of touch is all over the body. Even the eyes, the eyeballs, they are sense of touch first. Then sense of sight. First is sense of touch. Got any doubt? Then put the chalk inside, that's enough. Sense of touch. Even your tongue is a sense of touch. Sense of taste later. If you got doubt, again take, so a boiling cup of coffee, take. Boiling cup of, you take that. Then you will find you have got sense of touch. Not only sense of touch today for 3 days, only sense of touch. No sense of taste anywhere. And therefore, the whole body is a sense of touch. That's why I admire this whole, whatever that is here I see, creation. It's also, it is probable. It is, the probability of the body being entirely different is as much. At the same time you find it is in this form. And that sense of touch should be all over the body. And it is an amazing thing. Otherwise, do you know what? You will come home, you will find your hand missing. Generally we miss our handbags, but not hand. We miss our handbag and I forgot to bring the bag, handbag. I left it there. But now what will happen if the sense of touch is not all over? You will miss the hand and come home. What happened to my hand? Where is my left hand?